Howdy, folks. Greyhawk 4x4 coming at you again. You're listening to Vintage Gamer, and it is Thursday night live gaming chat. It says there's nobody in here, so I'm talking to nobody right now, except for you people that are watching it on replay. So, howdy. Now let's have a little bit of soda to start things off. That could be Chupa that just came on board right there. Let's see. Oh, we got two people already. All right, right on time. Shit. Right on. Got a big list of stuff I want to talk about today, but I'd like to wait until we get some more people in. So, let's see. Who do we got checking in here? Anybody yet? Hit up the chat just so I know who's in here. So, anyway, I got at least one person in here. So, I want to start off because I forgot my last video to mention that an update about fantasy football. I am the champion of my fantasy football league. I won. So the Greyhawk 4x4 Assassins, that's the name of my team, are for our league for 2021 first place. So all it is bragging rights. It's not like there's any money on it or anything like that. But hey, Yahoo, that's who I play fantasy football through. They keep your stats from the whole time, and I think I've been on doing fantasy football since 2003. So it has, and I have like a 56% winning percentage or something like that. This is my second championship. So it's kind of cool to go back and look at your whole career and look at your stats and everything to see how you've done and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that was one thing I was happy about. Because let me tell you what, if you've never partaken in a fantasy league of any type, whether it's baseball, football, basketball, whatever, hockey, you will quickly learn that if you actually want to take it serious and you want to compete and you want to try and win the league that you're in, it takes some freaking work. I mean, you got to really be paying attention to the players that are performing and how they perform against certain defenses and injuries who might be. Now, COVID threw everything out because people started coming down with COVID, so they were instantly put on injured reserve and all these things. Now, there's trades you can do and all that, but it's legit. There's a rewarding factor from it, knowing that you played the right players at the right time to win that particular game, to get good enough to get it. Hey, Colin, to get into the playoffs, which is that's your main hurdle. You get into the playoffs, and then you got to win 2 games to win your championship. So anyway, if you've never done it before, hey, IP config, how you doing? So we got a couple of you guys in here. So you will forgive me. The phone doesn't go on do not disturb until I know the wife is home safe from work. 2 things happen when I can hear her upstairs walking around. Once I know she's home, once I know my wife's home and I don't have to worry about driving to go like rescue her if she broke down or something like that, I can pop a beer and I can put my phone on silent. Because then I know, because I don't give a shit who else is trying to call me besides as long as my wife's home safe, I'm good. So those 2 things happen the minute I know she's home. So we'll have to wait and see. I haven't heard her come in yet. So anyway, so the phone will maybe bleeping up until my wife gets home. So we'll just have to deal with that. Looks like you're making pizza in the back. No, that's it's actually a space heater. But I never use the heater part because I got a fireplace over here. I got a real life gas fireplace over here. So I don't ever need that, but I like it for the ambiance. Because when we play, like at the table or whatever, all these lights here are on dimmers. So I can dim them down. And then I've got like lanterns and stuff, LED lanterns and stuff that come on. And then with that, and I got some other I got candles I can that I burn and stuff like that for mood lighting and ambiance and all that stuff. that's all part of it. But I had that on off and on when I would do videos. And then one day I didn't have it on, and somebody, I think at least one person, maybe two people, said, "Hey, you don't have your little fireplace going back there." So now I just put it on for every single video. So, but I never used the space heater part of it. It was free. Um, at the place where we buy our furniture, there's a place here locally called RC Willie that, and the reason that we buy all our furniture there is they deliver it, build it, put it where it goes. So, which means Greyhawk 4x4 ain't got to do shit with it because I have built the last piece of furniture I'm ever going to build. Uh, it was a kitchen cart thing for my wife from IKEA. And literally, my wife said her ears were bleeding by the time I got that damn thing put together because uh, pieces weren't fitting. There was pieces missing. Oh man, that was so. I've already put together the last piece of furniture I'm ever going to put together. If it don't come put together, or the people don't bring it and assemble it for you, I ain't buying it. So there's certain things you do as you get older. You know, like I'm pretty sure I've helped the last person that I'm ever going to help move. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to help somebody else move again. Uh, you get to a certain age and that shit, you're done. You don't do that anymore. You know, uh, helping people move is almost every single time uh, a guaranteed injury for people. Like you're going to smash a finger, you're going to drop something on your toe, you're going to throw your back out almost every single time. Foxbat 945. Hi, Greyhawk. I've heard about those IKEA assembly horrors. Yeah, well, no more for this kid. Let me tell you. I will say this computer desk that I've got all my gear on right here, and you guys can see it when if you go back and look at my videos where I show the room and everything, you can actually see this computer desk. This is from IKEA, and it is one of the best purchases I've ever made in my entire life. This thing, it's the size of it and the shape, it's perfect for a computer desk because you can put two full monitors and all your other, like I got external hard drives, I got all kinds of stuff here, and this thing I can stand on it. It'll hold my it's sturdy enough to hold my weight. Like if I had to do something, hang stuff up or whatever. And this thing's been moved. I've had this for probably, well, I've had it at least 20 years. Yeah, let's say that. About 20, yeah, at least 20 years I've had this thing. And I think it'll last me for my lifetime. So I will say that. I mean, they're hit and miss with IKEA stuff. Luckily, this one wasn't very difficult to put together. But after I did that kitchen cart thing, I said, that's it. I'm done. No more of that. And yeah, no more moving people either. It would have to be some kind of a weird emergency situation where like somebody had to evacuate, like because there was a freaking hurricane coming or something like that, and they needed my help desperately or something. Which we don't live in hurricane area, so I don't see that ever happening. So other than that, yeah, that shit's nope. Anyway, so we got a couple people in here. Well, we got at least 3 people in here, and so that count thing's probably wrong. Let's start off talk about the D&D campaign, one that we play back here. As you know, I decided to take a break from DMing, and we do that. We rotate, so it's not uncommon. And Jonathan's going to take over and do his homebrew stuff. We were planning on tomorrow playing right here. However, hello, Chupa. However, yesterday here in Utah, we had 9,000 COVID cases yesterday. Now, to put that into perspective, 2 weeks ago, we were under 1,000 a day. We were in the hundreds again. We were back down in hundreds. We had we had 8,900 and something. So 9,000 yesterday. In one day, 44 people died here in Utah from COVID yesterday. So we are not playing here tomorrow. We're playing on Roll20, just like we did at the heart of the pandemic in 2020, whatever. All the years fucking blend together now with COVID. Who knows? Anyway, whenever it was that the original spike was, yeah. Um, yeah, IP config. Um, I all I can say is that we had a chance as a collective populace throughout the world and in the United States and in each state, we had a chance to contain this virus, and we didn't do it. Not enough people got vaccinated to hit that 80-85% mark that you need to get to, um, which is how they eradicated other diseases in the past, polio and stuff like that. You got to get to a certain, and we didn't hit that for whatever reason. We didn't hit it, and so this is what happens: more variants come out because the virus has chance to mutate, and this is what happens. So now it's basically an uncontrolled pandemic at this point. There's literally no control on it now. It's gotten to the point now where they basically said everybody's going to get it. If you're totally vaccinated and boosted, you're going to probably just be sitting home with some mild symptoms and everything else. Otherwise, you may end up in the hospital, but the hospitals are overrun, so it's a shit show. So anyway, I don't want to get too bogged down in that, but so as a result, we're going to be doing it through Roll20. So I will keep you guys posted, just like I always do. And what that allows me to do is I might even be able to post some screenshots because I take screenshots on Roll20, and I can put them on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably should be, because I'm going to start posting. I posted today about the Book of Boba Fett. So yeah, follow me on Twitter because I tweet daily. So yep. IP config says I'm vaxxed and got Omicron, dealt with it fine now. Everyone is getting this, no way out. That's exactly, I think that's a 100% factual statement. I don't think anybody's going to escape it at this point. I'm fully vaxxed, boosted. My wife's fully vaxxed, boosted. So we expect at some point we'll get Omicron and deal with it. And luckily, I'm retired. I can just stay my happy ass home, and yeah, there'll be some stills for sure, Colin. Like I said, I'll be posting screenshots of the Roll20 mat and all that, and I'll put that stuff on Twitter and all that. So, and we'll talk about. He put out some information about the game world that he's using, and he's using that. I showed it last time. I don't know what I did with the book, the Old School Essentials. The Old School Essentials rule set is what he's using, and they just got the advanced players handbook back in stock. So I ordered it yesterday. So because he's using the advanced rules, and I have it on PDF, but I didn't have the hardback. So now I've got that one on the way. So I'm good there. So yeah, there'll be lots of updates on that on the campaign and all that stuff. Let's see. Next thing, let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. I enjoyed the first episode. Some people were split on the first episode. Some people thought it was slow, it was boring, they had issues with it, whatever. I enjoyed it. Just watched the second episode today. The second episode was fucking badass. No other way to put it. It was awesome. Hang on. Yeah, wife's home. You'll excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, that second episode was fantastic. Full of action. Gave you a lot of. See, I'm an origin story nerd. I love origin stories, knowing how the backstories of characters and stuff like that. And I'm not going to give any spoilers or anything, but it's definitely a not necessarily an origin story for Boba Fett, but it's definitely a backstory episode where it goes and explains. You learn more about Boba Fett through this episode. So, and then I went on and I looked at some reviews and everything else, and everybody else is saying the same thing. They're all saying, "Yep, it's more like the Mandalorian level of, you know, um, of fun." That's the word I just it was a fun. I enjoyed the shit out of it. So, if you're a Star Wars person, I think you're gonna like it. So if you haven't already seen it, have any of you that are in here, have any of you guys been watching the Book of Boba Fett? Hmm. And if there's anybody that wants to complain about the way I pour my beer, the way I've been doing it for years. If you get a beer in Germany, if you go to Germany and you order a beer this size, that's how it's going to look. That's how they serve it to you. They release CO2. That's why there's a head on it that helps bring out the flavor. So yes, you can always tilt the glass if you don't like it or whatever, but this, if that's how they pour it and they're the kings of beer, then it's good enough for me. Okay. Colin says I've watched 2.5 seasons of Deep Space Nine in the last 7 days. Wow. I have not. Now I'm on Star Trek Next Generations. I just started season 7, the last season. That's actually on my list of stuff to talk about here because as much of a Star Trek fan as I am, I have some serious issues with some of the stuff I see, and that's I have to blame the writers because the writers it's what I call lazy writing. I'll give you an example. So I just watched. Now this is going to be spoilers. If anybody, I'm assuming most people. I'm like the last person on earth that hasn't seen Star Trek Next Generation all the way through. So, but if you haven't, there's going to be some spoilers here. So I watched the episode where Data and his brother Lore, um, basically Data. It's the two-parter where Data becomes self-aware or something and starts having emotions, and he kind of goes rogue and all that stuff. Hello, Bastille. Um, Bastille has been in Star Wars Galaxies with me. I saw him last night. So I'm watching this one with Data where he goes rogue and all that stuff, and they're on the planet, whatever planet it is, and there's a structure that they're trying to decide, if that's where the Borg is, the enemy, and whether Data is with them, etc. And there's several away teams, and Captain Picard is leading one of the away teams. And this is the kind of shit that makes me absolutely crazy. So you've got, I don't know how many away teams. There's probably like 10 away teams because they took like everybody off the Enterprise, most people off the Enterprise, and left basically a skeleton crew on there. So you've got literally all these away teams on the planet, scouring the planet looking for Data. So Captain Picard's away team finds a structure, and they decide they're going to go and investigate this structure. Now, here's the crazy part. I'm screaming at the TV because I'm tapping my thing here, my communicator, saying, all other away teams, we have found a structure at these coordinates. We are going to investigate. Or, even better, all other away teams, Captain Picard here, we have found a structure at these coordinates. Who can come and provide backup while we investigate this structure? One of those two things is logical. Nah, they go in, just the four of them, by themselves, into this unknown structure where the Borg, which is one of the big baddies of Next Generation, is, or supposedly might be, and of course they get fucking captured, and the whole bit. I mean, it's like that is the laziest goddamn writing. I can't explain it. because having been in the military, and I don't even know if you have to have been in the military or police tactics or anything else like that, but they teach you three basic things: move, shoot, communicate. Because you always want to let everybody else know what the hell you're doing and where you are, so that if you need help, they know where to go get you or to come give you backup or whatever. That's lazy writing to me. It made me crazy. I'm like yelling at the TV. I'm like, why wouldn't Captain Picard, of all people, communicate that to the other away teams? And sure enough, once they get captured, they get their communicators taken away and everything. And everybody, and Riker, who's number one, he's the next in charge. He's like, yeah, don't know where Captain Picard's team went. Can't get them on the communicators, can't find them. You know, it's like, yeah, because they didn't fucking tell you where they were. Ah. So anyway, that's the kind of shit that about Next Generation that makes me nuts. And then also going into a dangerous situation and not having their phasers out, just walking in, and then all of a sudden people jump out, and it's like, oh yeah, you got the drop on me, because we knew we were going into an unknown situation, but we didn't bother to have our phasers out. You know, Eh, that kind of shit just makes me crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the stories, I like the characters, I like the world, all of it. So, but the lazy writing pisses me off. So anyway, Foxbat says that's what they get for not having red shirts accompany them. Well, yeah, they needed, and they do that all the time too. They'll go down on an away team, and they know they're going into a dangerous situation. They'll take like one security person. Hey, how about you send a squad, 6 or 7 or 8, security people. Send a squad. Uh, you know. Anyway, so that's kind of stuff that makes me crazy about Next Generation. But we've got beer, so everything's good. Okay, so we've talked about the D&D campaign. By the way, I'm going to go back through everything we've talked about. If you weren't in here and you want me to go over some stuff again, I can go over it real quick again. Talked about the D&D campaign. Book of Boba Fett. Talked about Star Trek Next Generation irritation. We talked about fantasy football that I won. I got my championship belt, whatever trophy, whatever you want to call it, for winning. So I was happy about that. Star Wars Galaxies. So, as you know, I'm one of the biggest proponents of Star Wars Galaxies. And right now, of course, I'm playing the emulator on the new server Finalizer. Bastille was in there with me. Brad, who is not in here, I don't think. Brad has sent me in-game messages every single time I've been off, though. So I think we play at different times. So at least 2 of you have been in the game with me on Finalizer. And the exciting news is we're hitting at minimum 1,200 concurrent players on Finalizer every day. Today they hit almost 1,300. Now you're talking about an emulator for an MMO that shut down 10 years ago, and the game itself is like 20 years old. And that's how much people still have a passion for this game. It's unlike anything you've ever played before. I can't really explain it to you. Bastille was in last night with me and sending me messages and stuff, and he was saying, yeah, I'm gonna have to. He's like, I'm gonna have to take some serious time to relearn how to do all this shit in the game, because again, it's unlike anything you've ever done before. When the entire planet is open to you to basically do whatever you want, put harvesters down to harvest minerals, to harvest whatever resources you want, and you got to hunt for different resources that have different potencies and different stats and all this to make the better items that get the biggest price. And then you've got player housing anywhere. You can drop houses anywhere you want to, but there's only so much real estate. So you want to try and pick the real estate near the big cities, so you're not having to travel too far to get to a city. So people end up selling real estate in the game. Like they throw down a house early on at the very edge of a big city or whatever, And that's prime real estate, because somebody's going to want to put a shop there with vendors, because people are going to search on the bazaar for items, and it might say, oh, that's being sold by that vendor. And if you go to the vendor directly, you don't pay the broker fee. And people are going to say, well, shit, that's right over there. And they're going to go over there and buy your stuff at your broker, right? And which means that you don't pay a broker fee for listing it, because you're selling it at your own vendor in your house. And so that land itself becomes valuable. So if somebody throws down a house and they have no intention of actually keeping that house there, they just keep it there until everything populates around and there's no more real estate left. And then they say, hey, I'm selling a spot, South Coronet, right outside the city. I'm selling a prime vendor lot. And they'll get people offering them 1 million credits or some shit, for that spot. So you sell real estate in the game it's the depth of content and the depth of creativity in the game is ridiculous. So anyway, if you want to join us, all you gotta do is get some of the discs off eBay or Amazon. They're not that expensive. They're like $30, I think, $20-$30 for a set of discs. You can load up the disc and then you can play them, and it's free. There's no fee. They can't charge, because Disney would come after them if they did. So it's a non-profit organization that runs the server. And it's all done by donations and everything. So anyway, so there's that. Now I got one. Bastille says, I saw that there is an Imperial Navy pilot profession. I don't remember that one. So that is from Jump to Lightspeed. Jump to Lightspeed is the first expansion, and that was the one which allowed you to go into space and to have your own spaceships. And excuse me. And if you go Imperial Navy, first of all, if you want to go Imperial Navy, you have to join the Empire. You have to go to an Imperial recruiter and actually join the Empire. Now, if you do that and you leave a city or something, like, I can't remember what it is, you can make yourself what they call overt or covert. If you're overt, you're basically opening yourself up to PvP with the rebels. And conversely, if you go rebel, which everybody should, then if you go overt, then the Imperials can attack you. Now, just like World of Warcraft, where everybody goes Horde, for whatever reason, on Star Wars Galaxies, apparently on the emulator, apparently everybody goes Imperial. And I think it has something to do with the fact that if you're an Imperial, you can literally get a pet ATST to follow you around. Like, you can have an ATST as like a pet, and it fights for you. Like, it's not a vanity pet. Some bitch can fight. You can use it to attack. So I think that's why everybody goes Imperial, but not sure yet. I'll get deeper into it to find out. Now, so once you do that, then you could go Imperial Navy pilot for the Jump to Lightspeed expansion. They do not have Jump to Lightspeed in the game yet, in the emulator. They're working on it. That is the last challenge. That's the last thing they really have to put in, is the Jump to Lightspeed stuff, where you can have your own ships and do space combat, space PvP combat. Yeah, they're working on it. It's coming. So they have the professions in there, but you can't do anything with it right now. You can be a rebel pilot, you can be an Imperial Navy pilot, or you can be a freelancer. And a freelancer is what Han Solo was. Han Solo was a freelancer. So he was a freelance smuggler. So if you freelance, I believe, if I remember correctly, this is going way back. Yeah, see, Bastille says, a previous Imperial character from years ago could call stormtroopers to help in combat. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So, where was I going with this? Oh, so I believe, if I remember correctly, if you're freelance, you could take missions from either the Rebels or the Imperials, if I remember correctly. But I can't remember how it all worked with the factions. If you went freelance, um, I think that if you went freelance, the only downside to being freelance was you didn't have access to either faction perks, faction like gear and stuff like that for the faction that you could buy at the faction, like either Rebel or Imperial vendors and stuff like that. Um, I think there were freelance like perks and stuff like that, but I think that was the one downside. I'm not 100% sure because it was like 20 years ago. So anyway, they're working on all that. That's all coming back, but uh, yeah, it's what a game. So uh, next thing I want to talk about. By the way, uh, any questions you guys want to put in about anything you want me to talk about, that helps me out. So I'm not constantly trying to think of like what else do I want to talk about or whatever. You guys throw questions in there. It doesn't matter what it's about. It could be about current events in the world, could be gaming, could be beer, could be football, could be sports of any other kind of sport, whatever. You name it, throw some questions out there. That'll help me out. Not trying to rack my brain of coming up with things to talk about. So. Okay, so speaking of talking about stuff completely off topic, I saw something today and it really made me want to talk about this particular topic. Apparently, Taco Bell, as of today, has chicken wings. Now, you might say, well, that's an odd thing for you to bring up out of the blue there, Greyhawk. This is a gaming channel. Well, yeah, but gamers eat. So, and we eat fast food. So, let's talk about this because there's a bigger topic behind this, what I'm going to talk about here. So, I've watched a couple of reviews. There's a couple people that I follow that do food reviews, and they're my favorites. Dame Drops. I don't know if any of you know who Dame Drops is. He's one of the bigger food reviewers on YouTube. He also had a show on Food Network for a while. Anyway, so I watch him, and his opinion usually is pretty spot on. Like whatever he likes, if I end up trying, I'm like, yeah, this is damn good. So, and he raved about them. There's another guy, and I can't think. His last name is Johnson, and he's on TikTok. And he raved about them. So that's 2 for 2. Now, here's my problem. They're only available for 1 week, this week, and that's it. Now, that leads me into my bigger issue with this whole thing about, I guess they call it FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And they use this FOMO shit with more and more frequency nowadays because with social media, it creates this fervor when a product comes out that everybody has to, that's like with the Wendy's, not Wendy's, that was the other not Church's Chicken. God damn it! Why can't I think of the other chicken place? Anyway, the other chicken place had the chicken sandwich that went viral and everything, and everybody and people were lining up for their chicken sandwiches, and then they ran out of them and all that. That's what it creates. So, so with this Taco Bell thing, it's like they're only gonna have it for 1 week, and now because it's going viral, all these reviewers are raving about them. You're not gonna be able to find any. There's gonna be people lined up at the Raising Cane is another thing. Yeah, everybody went ape shit over Raising Cane too, but what is it here? Hang on. Now quit trying to this stupid Google tries to decide what it is that I am looking for here. Popeyes chicken. When Popeye's chicken sandwich went bananas, So, but here's the thing. So these chicken wings are around for 1 week, and everybody's raving about them, and it's like, so even if I did decide, Oh, that sounds delicious. I'm going to run over. I have a Taco Bell right around the corner here. I'm going to run over there and stand in a goddamn line or wait in a line in the car for however long to get them, whatever. And then let's say I love them and they're delicious and they're some of the best chicken wings I've ever had in my life. Then you can't get them anymore. What's the point? It's like to have them once? Fuck that. I'm not down for that. It's like and they started that shit with the McRib every year. Here's a news flash for you. I lived in Germany for 3 years. We had the McRib every single day of every single year. In Germany, you could go to McDonald's and get a McRib any day you want. It's just there. They just have them. And they do that shit. They artificially create this fervor for stuff temporarily, limited time only bullshit. Well, you can have a limited amount of my ass is what you can have, because I ain't doing that limited time bullshit. Because if I like it, then all I'm going to be is disappointed that I can't go back and get it again because they don't have it anymore. To me, that now maybe, of course, I'm in the minority. I'm sure I'm the angry old man that rants about shit, and my particular rant today is about limited time only stuff. They did the same damn thing with the Rick and Morty Szechuan sauce at McDonald's for chicken nuggets. They had the special Szechuan sauce, and everybody went fucking bananas over that and was waiting in line for sauce. I mean, So anyway, tell me what you guys think. What's your opinion of that whole limited time only items, like at fast food places and stuff like that? Here's another good example right here. I love my Baja Blast. Baja Blast, as far Mountain Dew Baja Blast is to me is the best soda for me on the planet. There's something about that lime kick that it has, and I know, yeah, it's all marketing, but again, and I'm in the minority. I guess the majority of people are willing to go sit in line at a Taco Bell to get chicken wings once, to try them once. So Baja Blast, what it resorts to me, because it's only available in cans once a year. So I have to go as soon as it comes out, because it sells out instantly when it comes out in cans, and I buy 30 12-packs. Boom. I load up my truck, 30 12-packs. I forget how much it cost me. And I stockpile the damn things, and they last me, the 30 12-packs last me all the way till the next year. So it lasts me 365 days. I did the math. God damn it. If I have one a day, I did the math, and that's what it comes out to. Now, I know I can get it at Taco Bell if I want to go and get it on the fountain. That I do know. So that is my backup if I ever ran out or something like that. However, I'm a hermit, and I like to stay in my house. So if I don't have to go to Taco Bell and I can have it in the cans, that's what I'm going to do. So at least I'd come up with a way to do that. But you can't do that with stuff like the McRib and shit like that. You can't do that. So anyway, that's my rant about limited time only stuff. That's my thoughts on that. We're going to talk about this. Somebody asked about this. Somebody wanted to see the rod of 7 parts. They wanted me to do an unboxing of this. Colin says, I might try a limited edition item, but I wouldn't go out of my way. Yeah. There you go. That is a perfect way to approach that. Like, if the timing is there, like if I happened to be, let's say I'm on a road trip and I'm going, it just happens to be when the McRib is around, and I go to McDonald's because I'm on a road trip, and that's what you do when you're on a road trip. You go to McDonald's, and I happen to say, oh shit, they got the McRib. Yeah, I'll get a McRib. But for me to go and just say, oh, I'm going to go on a quest to go get a McRib, no, I don't do that bullshit anymore. I might have done it when I was younger, but now I'm just like, no, because I'm going to like it, and then I'm going to want one in 2 weeks, and they'll be gone. So anyway, so we're going to talk about this in a second. I'll tease that real quick. We are going to go through this. I'll do an unboxing on this. I forget who requested that. Bastille says he's with Colin. So yeah, so we're all, kind of in agreement there. So, but before I do that, I wanted to show you because I always tell you guys that I'm kind of the uh, all in when it comes to like a game, whether it's a video game or it's a even if it's a tabletop game, or let's say, oh, I can turn that shit off now. My wife's home, so off that goes. Um, Whatever it is, regardless of whether and if it's a TV show or a movie series that I really like, and I'm all in for it, right? I like to immerse myself. So uh, to keep with the Star Wars Galaxies theme, here's how much of a nerd I am. While I'm playing the damn game, uh, whenever I'm not doing a video or whatever, I'm playing Star Wars Galaxies right now. Or if I'm not doing chores around the house or whatever. I'm also reading the damn book right now. There's actually a novel, Star Wars Galaxies, The Runes of Dantooine. So they only made one. I checked to see if there was a series, but there's only one novel. So I'm actually reading that at the same time while I'm playing the damn thing. Matter of fact, so today I was playing Star Wars Galaxies, took a break to have lunch, watched Star Wars: The Book of Boba Fett, and was reading this book last night when I went to bed. So you tell me I'm not a Star Wars nerd. Shit. IP Config says, I avoid fast food. When I travel, I pack food to take. If I were a smarter man, that's exactly what I would do. Now, I do take a cooler in my truck. I have a nice big cooler that fits perfectly in the back seat. So I have what's called an extended cab or a crew cab, whatever you want to call it. Has a full back seat, full size doors in the back and all that. But on the floorboard behind my seat, I can fit a cooler perfectly. And so I put ice and I put my Mountain Dews and waters, bottled water. And I always make sure to buy, and it's hard to find them now, but you can find coolers, larger coolers that'll sit like in the back seat of a car like that have a shelf. And that comes in handy because if you have other items, let's say it's in the middle of summer and you're on a road trip, so it's hot, and you want to buy chocolate somewhere, someplace you go somewhere and they have good chocolates or something like that, that shit's going to melt in the car. But if you have a cooler with a shelf, you put the stuff in the shelf, it doesn't get into the ice where the water is, so it doesn't get waterlogged, but it stays cool. So that's an old man trick right there. Now, it's hard to find them. Most coolers nowadays, no matter what size they are, they don't have a shelf, but you can find them. Just you gotta look for them. So I have an old one that I've had to retire. That damn cooler is so old the lid's bent on it. It's warped. So I got my new one and that has a shelf as well. So same thing with like if you buy cheese on the road or anything like that. You don't eat a whole sandwich. You want to save half your sandwich, you can put it in the shelf. Doesn't get waterlogged, doesn't get any water on it, and it stays cold. So that's a little tip there for you. Okay, so now let's talk about the Rod of 7 Parts. This was what they call, so they came out with this for 2nd edition. They came out with this Advanced D&D tomes, and as far as I know, there's 3 of them. There's the Rod of 7 Parts. There is the Return to the Tomb of Horrors, and then there's the Axe of the Dwarvish Lords. Hey, Edward. Edward, was it you? Were you the one that requested this? Because somebody did, and I said on the next live I would do the Rod of 7 Parts. So let's see here. So anyway, so they had these tomes, and the Tomes Adventures, they called them. Oh wow, that is amazing timing, dude. I didn't even time it that way. It was just it just so happens that there you go. But anyway, so they had these tomes, and at first I thought, okay, well, they're going to do them about all of these relics. So in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 1st edition, you have these things, relics. The Rod of 7 Parts is a relic. The Axe of the Dwarvish Lords is a relic. There's bunches of them. Eye and Hand of Vecna, those are relics. And they're the most powerful items in the realms. The Rod of 7 Parts, of course, is one of them. So I thought, that they did this one and the Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, and I thought, okay, it's going to be all about the different relics. Then they came out with the Return to the Tomb of Horrors, which that's a dungeon. It's not a relic, so to speak. So I think it was more of just like legendary things, whether it was an item or a dungeon or whatever. I think that's what they were about. But as far as I know, they only did the 3. So it would have been nice if they would have kept going. There's more shit they could have done. So, but anyway, so let's open this thing up. Now, I had to buy this one. I bought this one probably 10 years ago, maybe, on eBay, because I did not have this one. I have the Return to the Tomb of Horrors I bought brand new. So I have that one, and I have the Axe of the Dwarvish Lords, but I didn't have this one. So I bought this about 10 years ago on eBay. As far as I know, from everything I can tell from going on to the websites and everything, it's complete. So here's what was in here. This is the Forgotten Realms Conspectus, they call it. This was in here. Now this, I'm guessing, is no more than it's just an ad, but it was in the box. So I'm going to show everything that was in the box. And this is, it folds open like this, and it talks about the realms of the Forgotten Realms and all that. And you've even got Volo. Volo's up here, and Volo's down here. So it's basically a very elaborate ad for Forgotten Realms, but you got this badass map. You got that badass map for the Forgotten Realms itself. Now, what's funny is, sorry if I tap the mic there. What's funny about that is, and then you have the product tree on the back that shows all the Forgotten Realms stuff. So, again, it's like a catalog, a big, type of a ad. And then they did the same thing with Dragonlance in the same box. You also got one for Dragonlance, the Dragonlance Conspectus. And it talks about same type of thing, talks about timeline, products, and all that. And then this one folds out this way to show you more of the timeline. So basically more of a showcase of all the products, the Dragonlance products, but they're cool. They're nice. I mean, I don't know how common these were, how many of these are floating around. But it's funny because the tomes, like this Rod of Seven Parts, obviously takes place in Greyhawk, because all this shit's all Greyhawk. That's where it came from. But you can see that they're trying to pimp their other game worlds. They didn't need to do it with, Forgotten Realms went ape shit. Well, Dragonlance did too. So I don't know if they need to, but it's awful nice that they put this stuff in there. So anyway, those are in there. And then you got, this box set is loaded. You got 4 different books in here. So I'm going to try and go in order here. That's book 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So let's go like that. So the book 1 is Initiation to Power. And this book is, what is this? I think it's 96 pages. So that's a decent sized book. And this is all about, I'm guessing, because I haven't read through all of it, obviously, that it's about collecting the 7 parts for the rod. So you've got all these different adventures to go through. Here you go. The quest begins. You've got all these different adventures and stuff you got to go through. There's a nice little piece of artwork right there. So you have Initiation to Power. Then you have another, I think this is also 96 pages, it looks like. No, this one is 64 pages. This one's 64 pages. You have the War Against Chaos. And see if I can find some decent artwork here for you. thought I saw. There you go. There's a nice one right there. Somebody conjuring something or something. Then you had Might and Menace, the next book, book 3. And again, these are all going to be about, I'm sure, having to get all the parts together for the rod. And this one is 32 pages. And then the last book is just all the monsters. Book 4 is just the monsters. So they obviously introduced a bunch of monsters that weren't found anywhere else. So they had to put a special book together just for that. And that's not, that looks like it's 16 pages. A nice piece of artwork there. A Drider. That's a badass Drider, actually. So you got those. And then you got, and I think I got, the guy that sent this to me, I think there's 2, because it says there's 6 full-size poster maps. But I have 4 of these, and they're double-sided. That would be 8. But there's 2 of them that are identical. So I think when he sent it to me, I think he sent me 2, or it just came in the box that 2 of the same one. So I've got a duplicate here somewhere. I think this is the duplicate here. Let's see here. No, that's not it. So anyway, so you get like supposed to be 6 of these maps, and they all fold out, and I want to be careful here so I don't tear anything. But they've got, I mean, for minis and stuff like that, it's perfect, you know. So you get, it's all this kind of stuff for basically, you know, planning out with minis and stuff like that. So you get all the maps. So there's a total of 6 of those. There's 3 and they're double-sided, so 6. And then you get these cards. There are 6 of these as well. The Citadel of Chaos, so another like way to plan things out. And then there's artwork on the back. And Uninvited Guests. This one is another Uninvited Guests. And then there's another. So these are like player handouts. Like I'm assuming when you describe this to them, then you can show this to them, like this coat of arms or whatever. So you've got the Forgotten Temple, Spelunking, and another Spelunking. So you got all these cards, and so between the cards and the maps and the books, I mean, that's a lot. That's a bang for your buck right there. And then those Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance stuff was just kind of a bonus. And then, of course, you had your other advertisements. You had your RPGA and your Dragon and Dungeon, you know, flyers and that kind of shit. So, and that was the box set. Anybody got the box is farting? Anybody got any questions, comments, jokes, riddles, puns, anything? Yeah, you made it just in time, Edward. That worked out good. So, yeah, and I remember I got that on eBay like 10 years ago, and it wasn't cheap then. I don't even want to think about what one of these complete would be on eBay now. I want to say I think I paid $100 for this. That sounds about right. I think I paid $100 for it. So, hey, Lapis. I missed earlier. What's up with your collection on the tables behind you? So I'm cataloging. I'm boarding, bagging, and cataloging my collection. And it may not look like it over all the videos. The boxes aren't moving, but I am making progress. That stack right on this TV tray right here, those have all been bagged and boarded. And now I'm in the process of I'm in the process of cataloging them. So I have a catalog that was created by somebody called a collector's checklist for all of the TSR products, old TSR before it was Wizards of the Coast. And basically, I'm going through and marking which ones I have, how many of that particular one I have, if there's like condition, I need to put condition on there and that type of thing. So Bastille says, I bought that box set a year or two ago. Do you remember how much you paid for it, Bastille? So, there's, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, I'm cataloging everything. So right there, that is the rest of the catalog. These sheets they go in document protectors, and then I just take them out when I need to do the cataloging at my desk there, and then they go back in the document. Once I'm finished, they go back in the document protector. Then I have a poster on the wall that you can't see that came out for all the TSR products that kind of coincides with this. And that, then I take highlighter and I mark them on there. That's my quick reference. So let's say that I just happen to be on eBay or something and I see something and I'm like, shit, I don't know. I mean, do I have that or do I not have it? I can't remember. I can go right over to my poster on the wall, and if I have it, I'll have it highlighted out. I'll have it marked out. That saves me from having to dig out the binder and trying to go through and see if I've got it in there. So the poster on the wall is my quick reference, and then I have my binder for this shit. So that should answer I hope that answers question there. So let's see what else. Anybody got any other topics? Oh shit, we're almost at an hour. It's almost time to call it a day here. So to recap, what I'll do is these last 3 minutes I'll do a recap. D&D campaign. We are not playing in person because of COVID. We went from under 1,000 cases a day a couple weeks ago. We had 9,000 cases yesterday in Utah of COVID. We went from under 1,000 to 9,000 within the last 2 weeks. So we're going to do Roll20. And I will be taking some screenshots and posting those to Twitter and so forth. So if you're not following me on Twitter, at Greyhawk4x4 on Twitter, you probably should be. So you get those when I tweet out and stuff like that. So that's what's happening with the campaign. I will be doing campaign update videos like I do when we're at the table. Talked about the Book of Boba Fett. Episode 2 was fantastic. I put it on the same caliber as The Mandalorian. So if you haven't been starting to watch the Book of Boba Fett, I recommend it. Fantasy football, I won my championship. I ranted a little bit about Star Trek Next Generation, about the lazy writing. If you want to see that, you'll have to go back and watch this on replay. Star Wars Galaxies finalizer server. I've been mentioned that it's over 1,200 people concurrently every day, consistently now. So, you got your copy from Intelligator on eBay. That's not one of the. I might have bought stuff from Intelligator before. I've got a few that I use pretty regularly. Noble Knight is the most. Everybody knows Noble Knight games, and they're the most expensive. If you get something from Noble Knight, that means you can't find it anywhere else. But you'll get it. They'll be accurate on what you get. Like if they say it's condition good or very good or fair or whatever, it'll be accurate. But that's because you couldn't find it anywhere else, and you're going to pay a price for it. Yeah. The good part about this is it's showing his origin story. It's showing how, at least from the Star Wars movies, from like Return of the Jedi, when he went into the Sarlacc pit, it's showing you everything that happened from that point to like what it is current day in the show, because he was in the Mandalorian, and everybody's like, well, how did he get out of the Sarlacc pit? What has he been doing and all that? Well, this show is showing you all of that. So yeah. Thanks, Colin. Went over the rod, and then we had a little rant about limited time only items at like fast food places and stuff like that. Currently, Taco Bell has chicken wings for 1 week and 1 week only. It's like, well, big goddamn deal. Everybody says they're fantastic. It's like, well, yeah, you have them once and then you can't get them again. What good is that? So anyway, that's the recap. And we're at 1 hour. So that'll do it, guys. See, today is Thursday. We're playing tomorrow, Roll20. I'll be posting some stuff on Twitter, some screenshots of stuff on Twitter. And then I'll do a recap video either Saturday. It'll be before Monday. I always promise I'll have it before Monday. And then Sunday is another live. So I used to buy RPG box stuff from half price books, but I got burned, stuff missing from the box. Now, here is the key about half price books. I have a buddy, one of our buddies here, Brad, that he buys a lot of stuff on half price books. They are very good. If you don't get what you thought you were getting, you email them, they will make it right. He's done it several times. Trust me. He could go into a lot more detail and everything, but trust me, they make it right every single time. But you got to email them and tell them what your issue is and all that stuff. Now, whether or not that helps you, Bastille, because it might have been too far now in the past, but going forward, yeah, if he ordered like a player's handbook, an AD&D first edition player's handbook, and it was like they said the condition was like good or very good or something like that, and he got it, and literally like the cover was falling off and all this, and he wrote them or whatever, and if I remember, they sent him another one. They didn't even ask for the other one back or something like that. I can't remember, but the bottom line is they made it right. So if that helps you, there you go. Okay, guys, that'll do it. We will see you Sunday for sure for live. If I do tomorrow, Saturday, if I do a recap on Saturday, you'll see that. Otherwise, it will be definitely by the end of Monday for the campaign, the D&D campaign update. So, all right, guys, cheers. Have a good night. We'll catch you on the flip side.